NQ market recap for Tuesday, the 24th of March 2026. Okay. Today, well, all I can say really was just a shit show, really. Yeah. So, the market has been delivering so bad due to all this war stuff, them holding price because they know, Trump is going to tweet something, they're going to do this and that. It was genuine horror. Like, I know it's going to go, but it's it's just doing it when the market ends. It's doing it when it's getting held. You see YM moving. Sometimes ES does the move, but NQ just been so bad. It's insane, right? Let me explain my today's trade, and I guess an issue that's kind of been reoccurring a lot. Really don't know what it is. Is it just confidence? Is it greed? Or you know, let's get over what Price did, right? And I was on the winning side of this trade, even though the market was this bad. But what ended up happening later? Um. Okay. So for today, right? And let's just replay to pre-market to understand the structure, right? Let's go to 928. What do we have? Well, as you can see, in terms of liquidity, we have the initial buy side, we have London buy side, we have PM buy side, and we have AM buy side with previous daily high. This market currently, I'm looking at it, the overnight structure, right? We're disrespecting bearish and bullish at the same time in terms of structure. But the overall structure is we're still within this large PC, right? So, and the overnight structure, this is not a structure that is set up to start dumping, right? So I was leaning more bullish unless we really start just expanding so low, and then I would just look for us to take our targets for this week, right? Which I didn't expect for today because I expected Tuesday to attempt to go higher. And if this is not going to be an inside day, that means we're going to take previous daily high, right? So whatever it is, we're looking to go higher, right? At the same time, here ES has taken London low. So there at that time there was a current SMT where we could potentially open up and just leave London lows, making relative equal lows, right? For us then tomorrow on Wednesday to help us go lower, right? Overall, the market is bearish, but for today, I'm bullish, right? So, hourly, 4 hour, whatever, there isn't really much to, really get anything. The only thing that I'm looking at is what could be the high of the day, right? And that to me would be the lower quadrant, midpoint, whatever, right? So I'm looking for the low hanging fruit objective, right? The easiest thing that the market can get. If it can get to the lower quadrant, then I know it's potentially gonna just run all these highs, right? If it wants to run all these highs, and it could be an inside day hitting the midpoint. This is how a typical day would deliver, like, right? It would run all these highs. If one of them ES could take all previous daily high, this will have an inside day, whatever, right? It's just the day is bullish, unless, like I said, we just crazy dump. So, in terms of what we could stop at, right, is like I said, either this SMT or it just doesn't hold, and then I have the opening range gap. I mean the new weekly gap, new weekly opening gap. What am I on about now? Right, highlighted. I have the upper quadrant midpoint really is the max that I would even think about. Anything below that, and then I'll flip instantly bearish. Right, so I'm mainly watching the upper quadrant. Right, I can't really see any PD areas on the 4 hour, 1 hour that I really care about because it's just this crazy 2 minute basic, I guess. Right, that just sent us 300 handles up. So we're still in that structure. We're still in a short-term bullish structure, but overall we're bearish on the high time frame. Okay, so so we wait for market open, right? And let's just run it to 9:30, right? So Next candle. Alright, cool. So this is what would push price down. Like I know if we decide to distribute, I mean go higher, this is what would push price down. And had it marked like this. The other one was when it turned bullish. Just, right? This 15-minute CB, I would expect either to run, right? If it gets inverse, then we're gonna hold the SMT. If we're gonna go into it and then start delivering lower, then I would be looking at them lows. But that's not my trade because my models tell me for today you're looking for higher prices. So I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna take that short because it's lower probability compared to the longs, right? In my personal opinion, right? On a normal market delivery, right? Not this bullshit. It's the lower probability. It's the right. The target is not as much, right? 120 or whatever. Then let's say if you can get a long here at this 200 points, right? So why take that? Be patient. And also, this is so early into the market, right? I wouldn't trade before 940. Anyway, we want to see if we're gonna close this gap, right? So how do we know if we're gonna close this gap? Well, we need to know if we're gonna can at least reach the lower quadrant, and we have, right? So that's all I care about for the opening range gap, and we can have it highlighted to see what we're gonna do with it later, right? Just don't have too much lines, but we'll just leave it for now. Okay, so now the market is not looking like it's gonna go through, so we're just gonna have to wait, right? We wait and we go below, creating our first presented fair value gap right there. Okay, cool. So we hit the lower quadrant perfectly and we go up, right? This is not enough for I have two accounts that I was trading today. One, I didn't really care too much, so I would go for the easier entry. The second is the one that I would go for the guaranteed entry, right? And let me show you there. I'm waiting for us to have the reaction on the first presented. I know we will have it, and like that's why I'm not gonna enter on this inverse fair value gap. Let's enter. No, I know we're gonna have a reaction there. And once the body's closed below midpoint, I know we're gonna go for another push, either to take the low or SMT the low, right? We end up taking the low, creating now this inverse, right? We already use this, so now on the other account, I don't really care. I enter long right there. So let's just, once we inverse it, that's my limit order right there. Right, and stop loss, oh, it's just based on like it has to be 500. TP the same, right? Where is it? There. Right, that's the minimum price should go to. I know it's likely to go higher and clear these highs, but I'm going for the low hanging fruit objective, right? That's my low hanging fruit objective there. It could have been here, it could have been there. It depends on what my model is, right? For the day. Well, the account that I care about, I need to see a closure above that. So once we close above that and we just start returning to the gap, then I have more of my guaranteed entry, I guess. Right? And let's just let that get into it. And then the stop loss now moves to this low, right? It can't, in any circumstances, if it's still bullish, go to that price level. It can't, right? So now, a normal market, once we go to this, we should go higher, and theoretically, that's where the stop loss should be. But then I just started seeing some BS. We go up here, and I'm like, alright, cool. We shouldn't really come take that low, but I can see relative equal lows really. So I still have to keep the stop loss. And then we just start heading into this garbage. We come all the way to the max point where, you know, we can go to. But yeah, and I'll just let you watch. We just stall, 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 do some bullshit, and stall, keep coming down. And this is one of the wildest stuff I've seen, right? They were holding the market, right? At this time, and I'll let it play, right? Right there is where I should have took it off, right? Right there where I should. I've been waiting for so long, and I had no sleep. I'm trying to go bed, but I expect this to come lower to here, right? I expect it, and then deliver higher, right? This is how it should do, right? Goes to here and then deliver higher. I went to sleep here, so I left the stop loss at break even, and I was like, I'm not gonna do what it's gonna do, but I know by the end of the day it's gonna deliver here. I had 0 0 0 expectation that it could even come back that low before even taking this high. And well, you know what you can see, if I was awake, seeing this failure right there, I would have closed. It's probably somewhere here. But as you can see, eventually it comes all the way back down. I wake up to a break-even trade, and we stole, we stole, we stole, we do more BS, right? And once the market has closed, it comes all the way down again. Yep. Once the market is closed and everybody's pissed off, oh guys, let's just go in few minutes and hit all the TPs. Like, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. This is not how a market should deliver. It's just annoying, right? And let's go back to here. Let's go to 11:20, right? You can see throughout that whole stall, YM goes and deliver to all the targets at the time that it should have, right? 11:24 here, right? Taking the highs, perfect, right? Trade done. And throughout all the BS is going up properly, right? ES is a bit garbage, but eventually it does hit them highs. 11:24. It gets all of this, right? And if it wants to retrace after that, it can retrace. And that's why I'm saying I should have taken it off right there. But I know that the minimum target for NQ, even if there's an SMT, even if there's going to be a retracement, hasn't been hit. Like, I know it hasn't been hit, and before the day ends, you can see we do hit it, but I get taken out. So I don't know. I wouldn't call it really greed because it's just I know where it should go clearly, but I guess I need to adjust for even below the low hanging fruit objective. I should, in this market condition right now, I should be aiming for below the low hanging fruit objective, if that makes any sense, right? Because if this is my low hanging fruit objective and ES reaches it, I think I should just switch to be like, alright, cool. ES reaches that low hanging fruit objective, NQ doesn't, close the trade, right? And I'm gonna give myself, I guess, to close all the way between 11 and 11:15, really, right? That's gonna be my max. Any time between 11:15, whatever, 11:20 max, any at that time, wherever we are, close the trade, right? Because after that, we're looking to start at 11:30 the lunch. What do you call it? The lunch macro, which goes to the lowest low at 10, right there, and that's why we went there at the lunch macro. once the launch macro stopped, you can see that we went higher, but again, in a garbage way. And then the last minutes we go up. This is not how we should deliver. This is not how we should. This is just not how it works. It's simple, not how it works. But it is what it is. We move, we learn. I will tone down my TPs, even though I know they'll be reached. Right? I will have to tone it down, um, based on this market condition. And yeah, I guess it's a tough lesson to learn, right? It's not like the first or the second or the third time even happening, right? Recently, where I get taken out before the TP hits, and it does eventually hit in the day in some fashion like this, and it is getting annoying. So, to just save myself from the headache, tone down the TP, and yeah, basically try to survive, right? Like this market condition until we get out of it, and then I can get back to not targeting the low hanging fruit objective, targeting London High, for example, because I know that's more of a guaranteed TP, like London High and this. Like, I know, cool, right? Before, this would be my low hanging fruit objective rather than taking it all the way to previous daily high or whatever, because then the probabilities fall off. But as you can see, bro, whatever. Anyway, let's get rid of everything. Straight garbage. And let's just see the close. Now, what do I expect for tomorrow? Right? Or, yeah, basically tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm still bearish on the market. I'm still bearish. Very. My objective for this week is these lows. Well, not really these lows. Let me show you what low I'm talking about. Is this low, right? So that's my weekly objective. So what are we gonna do tomorrow? Well, we showed no interest in taking previous daily high. So my minimum for Wednesday would be taking previous daily low, like as a minimum. So that would be my minimum. However, we had an inside day, and normally after an inside day, as you can see on this 15-minute structure, we went all the way to that unfilled 15-minute gap, right? And now we're starting to deliver lower. I just hope that by New York, we can hold the structure, so can New York not have scraps for once, right? Anyway, because it's an inside day, we could deliver much lower than just this low, right? We could have a real expansion to, I don't know, maybe these lows, maybe near the bottom, whatever. But regardless, I'm bearish for tomorrow's price action. And what would help is YM taking this high, which means that's a major SMT, right? YM, ES, whatever, right? I don't really expect ES to be taking that. But YM has the chance, right? YM could deliver higher, but I don't really require the SMT. Regardless, I'm bearish. But it'd be helpful if it does take it. Anyway, I believe that's the market recap. There isn't really much to do, explain, or even bother about, right? Our main thing really, and I would say this is, if I'm a London trader, I guess, well, once we inverse this, mainly coming down to here, there'll be a genuine market structure shift. And once we get above, right, and it'd be best coming all the way down here, changing the state of delivery, coming back into this, and you can treat this as a mitigation block area, and we could go lower. So that's the market recap. Peace out.